last, I'm going to move on to T.S. Madison and Tasha K. Now, this technically isn't about the transgender issue versus women and all that. It's not necessarily about that. So, they have been going at it over that issue, right? But T.S. Madison had said something about, like, I basically opened the door for you if it wasn't for me and Khia. Now, when I was on YouTube, I remember the Queen's Court with Khia and T.S. Madison. That was the greatest thing on YouTube ever. I'm telling you, if that was still on here, they had YouTube going crazy. Mind you, I used to just watch that and a few other things, but I didn't know there was like a whole celebrity gossip sector and stuff like that. But that was like the greatest show on earth. Khia and T.S. Madison, there will never be another to do it like that again. Remember I said Jack and Tokyo Tony could have possibly been that? They're too, they're not business smart. And, we'll get into that too as well, because that's where it faltered between T.S. Madison and Khia. The business was not being handled right. Khia didn't like who T.S. Madison was bringing on. And then Madison was in her feelings about the stuff that went on, with Khia saying this and that. It's sad that two people couldn't come together, get the shit right, and took over the whole internet. They would have killed it, Damn, I used the K word. But them two together. So I kind of asked the question, would Tasha K had still been a thing without the Queen's Court? Now, I'll say this. Yes, I do think Tasha K still would have been a thing, because you remember she had the whole R. Kelly thing and everything like that. But if I had to pick between two, the Khia and T.S. Madison versus Tasha K, who had the better show, y'all? Tasha K or T.S. Madison and Khia? The Queen's Court or Unwind with Tasha K? Who had the better show? Let's go ahead and do a vote right now. Yeah, had the better show. It was great. They even had Monique on there. Like damn. And that's another thing too. No matter who you are, because mind you, when I was watching it, I just thought they were entertaining. Like, I didn't know the TS stood for transsexual. I didn't know nothing about no big dick bitch. I didn't know anything. I guess that's T.S. Madison, the corn website. I didn't know nothing about no big dick bitch. I didn't know nothing about that. I knew Queen's Court. That's what I knew. I didn't know big dick bitch, right? And so my thing was like, yo, no matter who you are, you can be entertaining as hell. Right. Nikki wanted to invest in the show and like put it on TV. Yeah. And I don't think Khia was ready for that. She was all like, I was fine doing it in the living room. You wanted to do it. Maddie thought about business. Khia was just basically doing this for fun and getting like a couple of coins. Like, Maddie wanted more, right? So anyway, going back to my point, I didn't know about the big dick bitch. I didn't know anything about all that and, that kind of stuff. So, I wasn't introduced to her that way. But again, it speaks to when you have talent and you are somebody, whoever you are, as long as you can entertain the people, no one cares about who you are. And that kind of went back to my point. I was like, yo, this whole thing, the women versus the trans women thing, this is like a social media issue. Didn't I tell y'all, like, when you think about the whatchamacallit, when you think about like the trans people that you actually encounter, like, are they trying to cause issues and the replacement theory and shit like that? No, nobody's doing that in real life. They're just living their life just like regular people. you know? And again, that whole conversation about women don't own periods and stuff like that, that person that did that, the trans girl who started all that on TikTok, that person is a troll. They literally say controversial shit just to get people going. Just for example, whatchamacallit? What do you call that? What do you the Budweiser thing with the what is the trans girl name that did the Budweiser the promotion or whatever? I think it's like Devin or something like that, right? Anyway, the whole Budweiser thing, that was a controversial thing. However, the person that they picked to represent it was not like a trans person who'd been living their life for years and years. That Dylan, thank you, Jenny. Dylan, the Dylan person, the trans woman, did 100-day challenge on how to be trans. Like, it's another TikTok person that did this just to be, famous and all that. They didn't pick a T.S. Madison. They probably wouldn't because of the history and stuff like that. But but Dylan they chose because a controversial TikTok person. And again, it's not just a trans person just living their everyday life. It's somebody who is very controversial, Also, yeah, and Dylan, there was something about the Tampax, the tampons and all that stuff too, which in turn, this is where it gets tricky because my thing is like, it's always like the trans women talking, but also the people that do have periods are the trans men. And me as a man, we never even think about I never think about a trans man at all. Like, I just don't. In my everyday life, I don't even think about that. Because then again, they're just living their life, just their everyday life. And mind you, I live in the Bay Area, so you do encounter people and stuff like that. But in my personal life, do I talk or anything? No. And it's not because of anything. I just don't. And there hasn't been a situation where I had to interact with the trans girl who was at my job, and again, we never had any issues with her. It was us who had the issue. Again, we never had any, she never caused any problems. It was us who had the issue, And so I just really think about like, this is like an internet issue versus like a real life issue. Like I said, trans people are only less than 1% of the population. There's only like 1.3 million. And most of them transition later on in life. Like the age from 25 to 64, it's over 50% that transition later on in life. And as far as children, it's less than 10% who transition like before puberty and all that shit. And then after 25 to 64, then you have the rest of the population that transitions like later on in life. No one could ever replace a woman. No one. No one can ever replace a woman. So any replacement theory is just bullshit just to get people upset, get people mad. I mean, how long has this thing been trending for? It's been a couple of weeks now, right? With the whole Just Hilarious thing, and it's been trending. But is it solving any real issues? Trans rights are getting taken away. Women's reproductive rights are getting taken away. So this battle seems like, a distraction from the real shit that women in totality should be worried about rather than some internet bullshit. When you look at the facts, yeah, that is what it is. Everybody's rights is getting taken away, and this is just some shit that ain't gonna solve anything. It's just gonna have people upset and angry. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about how Tasha, human rights. Yes, thank you, Miss Curiosity. Human rights. Um, oh, Stephanie, thank you for coming out. Hold on. Oh shit, I'm gonna get canceled. Stephanie says I'm non-binary. I don't identify as man, but that's not an assault to femininity or masculinity. I am who I am. Thank you, Stephanie, for mentioning that. Uh, thank you for Stephanie. I hope you wasn't offended when I said. Oh man. Oh shit. Anyway, y'all. Um, oh, Tasha had brought up something, and I was gonna play the video, but it's hella long, and and I wasn't able to upload it. I have to do a separate video. But she talked about how, you know, the whole transphobia argument, right? And she said the real transphobia is with the men because you guys are sleeping with the men, and then they don't want to take you out in public and stuff like that, and da 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 da, right? And my thing is like, it seems like whenever this issue comes up, it starts out with like, women want a space just for women, cis women, biological women. They just want a space for their own, right? Which is fine. Like I said, we all want spaces. Like the only example that I can give you guys is I'll put up your comment real quick. Boom. What's up, Nelly? How you doing? Whatchamacallit. The only thing that I want to say about that is like, first to start out with one in your own space. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. The only comparison that I can think of is the fight for Black people, talking about Black Americans, melanated people, and then the fight for Africans, people from Africa, the motherland. Like we are both Black, we are related, right? However, I think that we have two different flights. Now, are there similarities and we intertwine? Yes. Like, for example, reparations. Black Americans, we should get our reparations. Should that include the Africans, Caribbeans? Hell no. That's a totally separate argument. But in essential, we are both Black. So, there's nuances to things. Will there be similarities and stuff like that? But I think, there is a such thing as two different flights. They have similarities and they will intertwine at times, but they're two different things. And I think it's okay to have one thing for this, one thing for that, but you can always come together whenever need be, But going back to the whole sleeping with the men and stuff like that, I think also this speaks to like the culture. You still can't be out in who you are. Let's be honest. You can't. And then if a man is with a trans woman, well, let's go one step further. Because when it comes to the transsexual porn and stuff like that, I don't want to use the Annie word, but that's what it's listed under. That's underneath the whatchamacallit. That's underneath the straight category. Like you see everything listed, blah 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 blah. And that's listed under just the regular. That's not in the gay section, that's just in the regular. So there are people looking for trans. There are people looking for that. It is what it is at this time, Flights. I'm trying to say, the flight of the people. You know what I'm trying to say, Justin. You see, you trying to correct me and shit. So there's people looking for this, and I don't want to just point out T.S. Madison. But there's people looking for this, and this is what they want. And honestly, it's that conversation like, oh, if you want a trans woman, are you gay? Are you this? Are you that? I'm gonna have to be honest about something. I feel that if you are with a trans woman and you're looking for the, then you are, because you are specifically looking for, you know, you're not looking for someone who transitioned all the way. You're looking for basically that sexual experience and all that shit. You know, that's what you're looking for. And I think, there is a conversation when it comes to outing culture and stuff like that. Um, when it comes to trans outing men or whatever, it can be a dangerous situation. Let me see. In the 90s, my boarding school didn't want me in the women's spaces because they were scared I hurt my fellow women students. Oh, wow, Stephanie, I'm sorry that happened. Wow. And boarding school, that means like you were still a kid and they didn't even want you in there. Wow. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. But yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, if you looking for an extra, something, something, then yeah, it is what it is. I don't know what other way to put it. And I think all about the whole, sleeping with married men and all this stuff and doing all that. I think that's another argument. We're talking about, women having rights in women's spaces. I think that's a different argument between the man, sleeping with the trans girl, and all that shit. Two different arguments. Yeah, thank you, Leanne, for showing support to say, and thank you everybody else. I don't know if you guys commented, but thank you to everybody else, supporting Stephanie and stuff like that. I'm sorry that happened to you. As a gay man. Okay, right. Wait, so you outed some people before? I don't want to put that on you. I don't know if you did or not. I don't want to put that on you. But yeah, no, but like I said, it seems like, it started out with one thing, but whenever this trans thing happens, it seemed like the argument just goes all over the place. And it's all like, okay, what's going on? And like, what are we actually fighting about? It just seems like it's all over the place. But again, like I said, shit, that's for women to handle. I'm just giving my opinion on this. But either way, and as you guys know, Tasha had posted T.S. Madison's passport that showed that it still said Timothy. T.S. Madison did say that she did upgrade, not upgrade. Shit. She updated her name and everything like that. So she went ahead and cleaned it up. So she already got it taken care of and she paid the money and got it done. It's funny because talking about Stephanie, she actually mentioned like before that, there was girls that she had to help, with that stuff because, when you transition, they don't give you that shit for free. Like you got to pay for all that. She talked about helping people out and stuff. Kelly said, AT2, I agree with TK having an opinion on the topic, but the reason TS read her for filth was because she posted TS mom, Miss Mary, oh yeah. She talked about how she gonna have diabetes and stuff like that, like her mama and stuff. Yeah, it was very ugly stuff because that's why TS had said the stuff about like, oh, your football headed children and all that shit. So yeah. And the thing is too, it's very weird because I thought like they were cool because they've been featured on the show and stuff on each other's shows and stuff like that. I thought they were cool, but again, it gets weird with TK because like one minute she cool with you and then all of a sudden you can be a storyline the next minute. So you just never know, you just never really know. All right. Anyway, y'all, I want to go ahead and finish off. Damn, how long do we make it? Damn. Okay, we're gonna make it at least to the 2 hour standpoint. We're gonna make it 2 hours. It's supposed to go for 8 hours, y'all. But we're gonna make it 2 hours. Damn. Some of y'all be like, I knew you couldn't make it 8 hours. All right, so our last topic here